Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Halal in Travel Global Summit 2026 by CrescentRating and HalalTrip. We would like to sincerely thank each one of us here for joining us today. And allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Allyana, and I'm a research analyst at CrescentRating, and it's such a good pleasure to be able to moderate this session today. So today's discussion is actually something that is very, very important in this industry. And the title to today's discussion is actually Raising the Bar, Education's Role in Advancing Muslim-Friendly Hospitality. So for just a short context, over the years, we have seen a huge growth into the Muslim travel market rapidly across destinations, hotels, airlines, and tourism and experiences worldwide, for example. But while the industry itself has made a strong progress in this sector, for example, like in infrastructure or certification, one challenge that continued to stand up until today is actually the human element itself, the people who actually work within the sector. So that leads to one of the main big questions into today's discussion, which is how do we actually ensure hospitality professional that can truly understand the needs of Muslim travelers? So yeah, that is exactly what today's discussion is aiming to explore. And worry not, because we are joined today by an excellent panel of experts from academia and hospitality educations. First, we have Professor Claudio Visentin from Italy. He is a professor at Università Della Svizzera Italiana, and he is an expert in tourism history and the use of history in tourism or heritage interpretations. Professor Claudio, how are you today? I hope you're doing well.
Very fine, very happy. This is the only time that we can connect during the day because we have different time schedules. I'm always very happy to be with CrescentRating.
Thank you so much. I am very glad that you are doing well. Okay, and secondly, we're also joined by Dr. Siti Salwa from Malaysia, and she is actually the assistant professor at the Department of Tourism, Kuliah of Sustainable Tourism and Contemporary Languages, with extensive expertise in tourism education and sustainable tourism development. Dr. Siti Salwa, are you doing great today? How are you? I hope you're fine.
Alhamdulillah, doing good, doing great, and ready to give my input, inshallah.
Yeah. Okay, inshallah, I mean, okay. And finally, we also have Professor Catherine Cheung from Hong Kong. She is the Associate Professor and Associate Dean at the School of Hotel and Tourism Management at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, whose work spans into hospitality management, tourism education, and industry development. Professor Catherine, are you doing good today? How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Allyana. Thank you for the opportunity to share and to speak with the other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, and thank you once again, everyone, for being here with us today. And since we only have around 20 minutes together, I will jump straight into the discussion. So, okay, let me start with the very first question. I would like to start with some kind of like an honest assessment. So imagine if I enrolled in one of the world top hospitality or tourism management programs, how likely am I to actually be graduated with any meaningful understanding of how to serve Muslim travelers? And what does that actually tell us about the current state of our, like hospitality educations? So with this very first question, perhaps we can start with Professor Claudio. Do you have any 2 cents on this? Yeah, sure.
Yes. So I think, yes, it's true, it's correct. Halal tourism is rarely a part of an academic curriculum, but I don't think this is intentional, It's present in an occasional way, but I don't think this is intentional. This year, I teach in the master program in international tourism at Lugano University, and I especially explore new kind of tourism. And for instance, this year I work on roots tourism and people traveling back to their origins, or historic car tourism, so very different forms of tourism. And I always discover very important and meaningful experiences. And these are not exactly niche, it means they are really sector, important, expanding sector. The big problem is that we do not fully understand, in my opinion, the importance of some sectors. We are very traditional in the way we consider tourism. So the disregard for halal tourism is not intentional. We fail to see it clearly. We fail to understand the importance. And so that's why today is very important to be here, because we need to bring halal tourism into focus. It really deserves more recognition, and this is something we should do. It's not intentional. We are a bit blind about the new forms of tourism. We must learn to see in a new way.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor, for the insights. That is actually very interesting. And I would like to extremely agree that there is quite a lot of things going on today, and we have to open our eyes to be able to comprehend all of the things. But maybe Professor Catherine have another insight on this. What are your thoughts upon this question?
Thank you, Allyana, for the questions. I think it is a very good question here, because we are talking about an honest assessment. You know, the curriculum is subject to changes, and depending on the situation, the market situation, the current environment. So I think at the moment we are going through a transition to inclusive hospitality and tourism. And we need to have an open mind, and we need students to have a good understanding of different cultures, because hospitality and tourism is about empathy, is about belonging. So this honest assessment is very important. So for the School of Hotel and Tourism Management, our students have to undertake internship. So the internship actually give a very good opportunities for students to learn to serve the real customers. And the real customers are the of different religions, and the Muslim travelers, which is becoming very important to our travel and tourism market. Students actually depends a lot on the practical learning during the internship to have a hands-on environment for them to understand the Muslim travel market. So, for example, students have to know about the halal dietary requirements. They have to understand, let's say, the prayer facility needs, and also the communication and the cultural sensitivity. So all these are important, and students can definitely learn in a real practical experience in a hotel. So that during the internship, we are very lucky here in Hong Kong, because we have a teaching hotel, the Hotel Icon, which we integrate our hospitality education with the hotel real setting. So we have Hotel Icon as a supporting venue for our students to learn how to serve different customers, of course, including the Muslim travelers. So the questions here is like, how do we turn this theoretical or cultural understanding into a very professional way of serving customers? So in a real hotel setting, it definitely can teach students that serving Muslim travelers is not about a special treatment. It is about inclusive hospitality and ensuring that our travelers' religious and actually cultural needs are being met. And that is very important to our education here in the School of Hotel and Tourism Management.
Okay, sure. That is a very interesting point taken as well. I would like to agree as well, because this is actually the first time I've heard about, like hotels that is acting as educational platform for students. Yeah, that is very interesting. And moving on, we also would like to hear from Dr. Salwa. Do you have any opinions regarding this? The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Allyana. So basically, I would say that interesting from perspective of Prof. Claudia and Prof. Catherine mentioned about how actually students be able to understand it during their internship. That's the method. So from there, I would say that specifically in the context of Malaysia, I would say that the condition is slightly different in the sense of, as Malaysia, we are majority Muslim country, and where the assumption is most of the hospitality graduate already have a basic understanding about what Muslim traveler needs. So that basically. However, I would say that in reality, that's more informal rather than structured. So if we see that as a general, if students graduate from a top hospitality program, the likelihood they have been systematically trained in the Muslim-friendly hospitality, I would say that still varies. So some of them may have attended short course, some of them have learned it throughout their internship just now, just Prof mentioned. Some of them may heard from micro credential, various platform. There is no actually systematic or structured platform whereby it's confirmed that they have similar understanding or they have been trained formally. So that's why I do see this is the gap in the hospitality tourism industry. Focusing on Malaysia, I may say that some of them may know basic element what Muslim tourists need, such as they know Muslim basically need to perform 5 times daily prayer, they cannot consume pork or alcohol. But to tell you true, just a surface, a level of awareness, and their talking about all these things from the professional competency is still like that. So it just very surface, and I would say that to be real, the level of awareness among the graduate are still level of basic. So that's mainly my point. Back to Allyana.
Yeah, thank you. There is actually also very interesting because, well, when we talk about like a Muslim majority country, I'm guessing that a lot of people actually aware of the things that Muslim traveler need, but at the same time, it's not something that is addressed as being professional, just like at the surface, or they know what to do this or that. And that actually leads to my second questions for the discussion. So I believe that our speaker has shared the importance of education and how we should have like an established system to be able to have this as a foundation of our education in terms of Muslim hospitality, for example. But and I see that each one of us actually works like in the tourism industry, but of course we also have experience as a traveler. Perhaps can you share like a real life example that you have seen or experienced of what happens when the frontline hospitality staff simply doesn't really understand like Muslim traveler needs or inclusivity in general? Like, what is the cause of that? Maybe we can start with Professor Claudio.
Oh yes.
Yeah, sure.
I have a very good story because we, as you know, Switzerland is small, but it's it's a small country compared to your countries, and it's also divided into cantons, and each canton is a small state in itself. So my university is in Canton Ticino, is based there. And it's a beautiful canton with a lot of lakes, landscape that is not the usual Swiss landscape, so it's a bit a special canton. And for a certain time, there was a strong interest from Muslim tourists that they wanted to come in our canton. They were fascinated by the canton. A few years ago, they came especially from the Gulf area, Emirates, and so on. But the canton tourism facilities, they really struggle to fully understand the needs of this visitor. It was one specific problem about specific needs, but it was also a wider problem of a wider social environment that was not always receptive or ready to welcome Islamic travelers. And so in the end, it didn't work fully, only very partially. And these were also top spending customers. I mean, they brought a lot of resources to the canton, but in the end, it was a missed opportunity on two levels. One of the level of the single organization, the single hotel, not ready to welcome them. But the second one was also the general environments. We had a lot of quarrels and discussion about politics and so on. And in the the end, the Islamic tourists, they didn't feel welcome fully, I think. And so at the moment, I think this is a missed opportunity in terms of visits, in terms of resources, and so on. So this is really the story of the canton where we are, and something went wrong, not dramatically wrong, but something really went wrong. And the result is very easy. You lose customer, visitors, guests, but you also lose human contact, interaction, cultural growth. You lose on every side, on every aspect.
Thank you, Professor Claudio. That is actually a very interesting point taken, because it's not just about like losing customer, but losing our sense of sensitivity itself. Okay, so we would also like to hear Professor Catherine thoughts on this question. The floor is yours.
In the past, there are examples of hotel frontline staff not able to recommend halal food restaurants dining to Muslim travelers. And that makes it very embarrassing, because they are not aware of the dietary requirements, needs of the halal of the Muslim travelers. So, but because of the promotion and of the Hong Kong government to really welcome Muslim travelers, the situation actually changed. So the Hong Kong Tourism Board work with CrescentRating to give Muslim workshop, Muslim friendly workshop to hotel frontline staff and also to the food and beverage staff. And this is very, very helpful, because this gives a good understanding to the employees about the requirements of the Muslim travelers because of their religion. And there is because of this initiative, actually it becomes more friendly, and we can see the proactiveness of the hotel frontline staff in serving the Muslim travelers. And that also promotes, as I said before, is an inclusive hospitality. So examples there in the past, I can see, not able to understand the food requirement, but now I think the situation actually changed.
Yeah, that is also a very good example. I learned a lot from today's discussion alone. And last but not least for these questions, we also have Dr. Salwa. Do you have any thoughts perhaps upon this one?
Okay, talking about experience-wise about story, I would say that if you travel in Malaysia, basically for us in Malaysia, talking about halal for restaurant or hotel, basically they should get halal certificate from the authority we call JAKIM. So they come with the rules whereby other than hotel or restaurant that didn't have halal JAKIM, they are not allowed to use the term no pork, no lard or Muslim friendly food. That's basically the idea. However, what really happened if you travel around Malaysia, there's basically list of restaurant, even hotel that actually mentioning they are Muslim friendly. They serve food no pork, no lard, which is somehow from operational perspective, we can see that the intention usually to attract Muslim. However, this thing from the perspective of Muslim traveler, you can see that this label without clear certification, without authority accreditation, it show that it create uncertainty among tourists. So even somehow when you ask the staff there, what do you mean by halal? They only know no pork, no lard, but they didn't know that halal is beyond than that. So and the ability to explain further or clarify to make us as tourists somehow feel uncertain. Do you really serve halal food? That's why. If you see that from the hospitality perspective, this uncertainty can create an effect of trust and influence the dining decision. even when ingredient appear it's acceptable, but you see that many Muslim travelers rely strongly on recognized certification. So in the course of this ignorance, you can see that not only about terminology just now, no pork, no lard, but more importantly, about regulatory clarity and consumer trust. And at the end, the credibility of the food experience in Malaysian halal tourism ecosystem has created somehow people become uncertain. Which one is halal? Is it can we really dining into Muslim friendly restaurant or restaurant that mention no pork, no lard? All this scenario has created uncertainty to certain customer. So that the cause of ignorance that I do see now. That's from my perspective. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Salwa. That is also very, very insightful. And yeah, I would like to agree as well, because in my country, it's also that way. Despite of being like a Muslim majority country as well, but sometimes we mistranslate it between halal and just merely no pork and no lard. And yeah, interesting point taken. And it is actually very closely related to my next question, because we see that there is something that can be improve or fix maybe to the educational system when it comes to like tourism industry. And perhaps my next question is about what should we do to actually fix the situation when it comes to like academia. Should we like improve the curriculum, for example, and how do we actually propose? And I see here that we are blessed with speakers whose university is actually very supporting towards this matter, but we also cannot really overlook that maybe like some of the institutional out there still not incorporate Muslim friendly educational in terms of their curriculum. And how do you want to suggest this to actually be bring upfront, and what can we do to make the whole situations and whole curriculum is actually quite effective? We can start with perhaps Dr. Salwa first. Floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Allyana. For me, the good way actually solution for this thing, my suggestion is for us to actually go for content, to create a content beyond the basic. So despite I believe that we are overburdened, the current curriculum, we already have sustainability, we need to include technology, digital advancement. However, including Muslim-friendly content is not something that we should, academia should ask whether we need to. But the industry already moving forward to that. So it by all means we need that. And when we have this, should include beyond that basic. And I think that another thing, not only including in the theory, I'll say that from my university perspective, we have done the first phase, which is we already integrate Islamic perspective, what are the Muslim need into all the curriculum. However, theory level is not sufficient. So that's why I do see the second phase level whereby the delivery must be experiential. So we need to include case studies, stimulation, and then industry immersion, rather than only lecture series. And another thing, I would think that the best way is actually to embed across the job roles. So we need to include all the chef, front office staff, revenue manager, required different companies, and also all the Muslim traveler. And another thing I did, a best way is actually to include academia industry to work together to give a real experience in this learning process. So that's mainly.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salwa. All right, so moving on with the same question, we can proceed to perhaps Professor Catherine have an opinion towards this. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Allyana. About the education, about how to train students or the staff. At the moment in Hong Kong, we have trainings for industry practitioners offered by university as a certificate program. So we have the Hong Kong University, they have a pro certificate for different modules. And these modules include Islam and Arab culture. They have Islamic economy and business etiquette. They also have all you need to know about Middle Eastern culture, and it also teach students regarding Muslim faith practices that impact the travel experiences of tourists, particularly on halal food service, prayer facilities, water-friendly washrooms, and Ramadan-friendly facilities and services. So I think, for certificate program, there are some which the duration is like for 6 hours. There are also programs that last for 12 weeks. So depending on the needs of the trainees, industry practitioners or students, so these are already in place. So, but I agree with the point that Professor Sawari talked about previously about the inconsistency of this training, inconsistency of, the structure of the training. So globally, there is an inconsistency of training or a workshop on understanding Muslim travelers. So I think, as as a more standardized training program, looking for more consistencies and more sharing among different institutions can really help. Say for example, the sharing today, I hear from Professor Claudio and Professor Sawari of what's happening in their countries. So that actually helps us in this part of the world to know what the other places are doing, in terms of the training, in terms of promoting cultural understanding. So after all, tourism is about building bridges between different people for different genders, different religions, and also different from different countries. So this communication is very important. So I think workshop like local one or regional one or global ones will also help a lot for majority of the people to understand about Muslim-friendly hospitality. So a 1 hour cultural sensitivity workshop definitely isn't enough. It's not enough, but it actually helps if there are more opportunities for people to explore and to meet people with better knowledge. So I think that would help a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Catherine. We actually learned so much from your answers. And last but not least, with the same question, perhaps Professor Claudio has 2 cents of it.
Yes, it's so interesting to me. First of all, I'm so happy to be with CrescentRating and these colleagues because we are really in the beginning of this thing. I mean, in Europe, halal tourism is really something that most people don't know about the existence of it or the problem. So we are really starting something new. I teach in Lugano University, and we are a full university, so we are not a technical university. We have very good technical program in Switzerland, especially in Lausanne, but we are an economics and digital and communication university, so we work on more general terms than specific training. And so what was really crucial for us was to understand, and this was working with CrescentRating, we understood that it's not about only the practical requirements. I mean, it's not the pork problem, I would say. It's something much bigger than this. And so that we should understand these values and the environment needed by the Muslim tourist. So I like to say that it's not about to feed the fish or not feed the fish with the pork, but it's to provide the water for the fish, I mean, the general environment. So I like this idea, this definition that I read in the program. Muslim-friendly service is not a checklist, it is a mindset. We precisely work on this mindset that is about cultural meeting, cultural encounter, understanding, and so on. And every day, we are really in the beginning, every day we learn something. For just to mention one aspect that was almost fun from our point of view, and we learned that for many Muslim travelers, especially women, safety is number one concern. They want to be safe. They want to feel safe. And in Europe, many persons think that Islam, or I would say in Europe, sometimes Islam is perceived as dangerous. So it's paradoxical that everybody wants to be safe or perceive a danger. So we have really a lot of work to do, not exactly on the technical aspects. Of course, they are important, but as a starting point to a wider knowledge of the problem. So we must provide the fish for the water, not the food, the water for the fish and not the food for the fish.
Thank you so much, Professor Claudio. That is a very, very strong statement and very, very catching as well. Yeah, we must provide the water for the fish and not only the food. Okay, but unfortunately, because I think we are running out of time before I formally close the session, actually, I don't really want to close the session because I learned so much from this discussion alone. Is there any speaker who would like to say a closing statement or? Okay. If sure, Dr. Salwa. But make it short if you're okay. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to highlight this thing. I would say that Muslim-friendly hospitality should be made as a core competency in the global hospitality accreditation standard and not optional specialization. So I think that's the main thing I would like to highlight. That's all, Allyana.
Thank you so much for the closing statement. Yeah, sure, Professor
Yes,
Claudio.
and as for me, I think we really need this collaboration. I mean, everything will work properly if we have a clear core of knowledge in the center. At the moment, this is what CrescentRating provides. I mean, they know about the things, but then you cannot just import this in your reality, because the reality of Hong Kong is completely different from Malaysia and is completely different from Switzerland. And so we also have to adapt, respecting the core of the business, of the idea. So share a common core of knowledge, body of knowledge, and then learn to a dialogue and to keep a dialogue open and to adapt it to the specific situation. I think this is really the big challenge. The big challenge for the future. I will finish in this way. I will conclude in this way. We live in a multicultural world, but we don't really believe that. We say this: be inclusive, be multicultural, but this is not in our head really present. So we must live and understand that the world is multicultural, and this is not a word, but is a practice. It's a way of teaching, understanding, and learning. And today, to me, was a very important starting point for this. And I really thanks my colleague, and I hope to meet them again. It was really a pleasure.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Claudio. Maybe something from Professor Catherine before we close the session.
Thank you. My last word is about for our students and for those who have a less understanding about Muslim travelers. I hope, in the future, the stereotype can be removed, because at the moment, some students still didn't understand about the religious needs and of the Muslim travelers. So I think the education plays a very important role to remove the barriers as well as the stereotypical like a mindset, as Professor Sawari said, the mindset. So training the students or be able to give a very positive message and mindset to the students to remove the negative stereotype of the Muslim travelers.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Catherine, for the closing statement. And we heard from all of our speakers today, and I would like to sincerely thank each one of our panelists for such thoughtful insights, and thank you so much for joining us today. It's a very great opportunity to be able to connect. And if I'm allowed to conclude, perhaps today's discussions makes it very clear that in today's Muslim-friendly hospitality, we cannot really scale sustainability without investing in people. Of course, a lot of things matter, but ultimately, traveling is about person-to-person connections, and if the industry wants to truly serve the next generations of Muslim traveler, educations and training and sensitivity to Muslim culture cannot longer be treated as something optional, but rather as something that we should have as a mindset and something that is mandatory. And thank you so much, everyone. Once again, we hope that you enjoyed this sessions, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the summit and see you. Thank you so much.